You've probably felt it before. You walk into a room. People are talking, laughing, enjoying the moment. But your mind, it's somewhere else. Analyzing, questioning, connecting dots no one else seems to notice. Sometimes people call you too quiet. Sometimes they say you think too much. But what if that's not a weakness? What if the habits you've always thought were strange are actually the quiet signs of a very powerful mind? Because people with extremely high IQs don't always look like geniuses in movies. They don't always stand out, but they tend to live their lives in very specific ways. And once you notice these habits, you start seeing them everywhere. Imagine this. You're lying in bed late at night. The world is quiet, but your mind isn't. You replay conversations from earlier. You analyze decisions you made years ago. You imagine different futures. Most people try to escape these thoughts, but some people lean into them. Not because they want to suffer, but because their minds are built to explore. And that's where the first habit begins. One of the strongest habits of people with extremely high IQs is constant curiosity. They don't just accept things, they question everything. Why do people behave this way? Why does the world work like this? What happens if I try something different? Even small things trigger big questions. A random conversation, a strange behavior, a tiny detail others ignore. Their mind pulls the thread until an entire pattern appears. And this curiosity never really turns off, even when it makes life a little harder. Pause for a moment and ask yourself something. When something doesn't make sense, do you ignore it? Or does your brain refuse to let it go? Another habit is something many people misunderstand. They spend a lot of time alone. Not because they hate people, but because silence is where their mind works best. Crowded environments are noisy. Too many conversations, too many emotions, too many distractions. But when they are alone, ideas start forming. Connections appear. Thoughts deepen. This is why many brilliant thinkers throughout history spent long periods in solitude, not as an escape, but as a workspace for the mind. Here's something even more interesting. People with extremely high IQs often overthink. Yes, the thing people criticize. But overthinking has a hidden side. Their brain runs simulations. If I say this, what will happen? If I choose this path, where will it lead? What am I missing? It's like their mind constantly builds mental maps of the future. Of course, this can be exhausting, but it's also why they often notice risks and patterns before others do. Another quiet habit is deep observation. They notice things most people overlook. A small change in someone's tone, a tiny shift in body language, a pattern in someone's behavior. While others listen to words, they read the space between them. And sometimes this makes social situations complicated, because once you see the hidden layers of human behavior, it's hard to pretend they don't exist. Now here's something that surprises many people. Highly intelligent individuals often doubt themselves. You might expect the opposite, but the more you understand the world, the more you realize how much you don't know. This creates something psychologists sometimes call intellectual humility. Instead of saying, "I'm always right," their mind whispers, "What if I'm wrong?" This quiet doubt keeps them learning, but it can also make them feel like they don't belong. Another habit is their love for deep conversations. Small talk drains them. Weather, random gossip, surface-level topics. It feels empty. But ask them about human nature, the meaning of success, why people fear loneliness, and suddenly their eyes light up. Because their mind craves depth. They want to explore ideas, not just exchange words. Here's something even more interesting. People with extremely high IQs often have unusual sleep patterns. Their brain refuses to shut down easily. Ideas appear late at night. Questions suddenly demand answers. Their mind keeps running long before the world has gone quiet. It's not always healthy, but it's very common among deep thinkers. Another powerful habit is mental independence. They rarely follow the crowd blindly, not because they want to rebel, but because their brain naturally analyzes everything. If an idea doesn't make sense, they question it. If a popular belief seems wrong, they investigate it. This can sometimes make them look stubborn, but in reality, they're simply thinking for themselves. Here's a moment to pause and reflect. Think about your own habits. Do you often feel different from the people around you? Do you analyze things deeply while others move on quickly? Do you crave meaning in conversations rather than just noise? If so, your mind may simply be wired for deeper processing. And that's not something to be ashamed of. One final habit stands out among highly intelligent people. They constantly seek improvement. Not perfection, but growth. They analyze their mistakes. They question their own thinking. They try to understand themselves better. Their mind is like a mirror they keep polishing, because they know something powerful. The greatest intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about never stopping the search. And here's the twist most people never talk about. Many highly intelligent people spend years feeling misunderstood. Too quiet, too sensitive, too analytical. They grow up believing something is wrong with them. But one day, they realize something important. The habits that made them feel different are the same habits that allow them to see the world more clearly. Curiosity, deep thinking, observation, independence. These are not flaws, they are tools. Tools that, when used well, can build incredible things. Ideas, solutions, new ways of understanding the world. So, if you've ever felt like your mind is too much, too many thoughts, too many questions, too many late-night reflections, maybe that's not a problem. Maybe it's a signal, a sign that your mind isn't meant to simply move through life on autopilot. It's meant to explore, to question, to understand. And sometimes, the people who feel the most different are the ones quietly thinking the deepest.